You are now listening to Cinema and Us here on the Campus Chronicle.
Serving the listening audience of Almekdad University and beyond.
Here we will discuss topics
that our listening audience wants to hear.
So sit back
and enjoy.
My name is Heather.
This is Tyler.
And this is Cinema
and Us.
Okay, so who topic you want to talk about today? First.
Well,
you can start with yours because we always start with mine.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, my topic in particular, I want to talk about how nowadays, and we are entering movie season, and that's beginning with the month of April. And I say that because now Hollywood, at the beginning of the pandemic, we mostly only had like smaller movies that not a lot of people probably would know about. But now, entering April, we have new movies such as Godzilla versus King Kong, which is as of right now, is the biggest movie at the pandemic era, actually. It's made over, I believe, 138 million, while compared to other movies, they made like below their budget, actually. So Kong is really overestimating its initial idea of what to make. So in terms of regular movie going days, that box office will technically be lower. But since we're in the pandemic era, it's actually a really big hit right now, and it's kicking off the movie season, which is going to project with Mortal Kombat will be coming out soon after that. Black Widow will be coming out within, I believe, June. So, like, movies are really picking back up thanks to Godzilla vs. Kong. So it's really a good sense of hope that movies are still in the conversation even during the pandemic, actually.
So what's your review of Godzilla vs. Kong? Because I haven't seen it yet.
No spoilers, but overall, I give the movie a 7 out of 10. Like, I give it a 7 for the fact that it's a overabundance of human characters. Because I came there just to watch the monsters fight and everything. But I gave it. But overall, I like the movie a lot for the fact that when it shows the monsters fighting, it really shows the monsters fighting. Like, as spectacular special effects, like Godzilla and Kong have never looked better in any of their appearances until this movie. It's just a really fun movie overall, and it's really awesome to see that this big fantasy finally come to fruition, actually. So I definitely recommend it. You should definitely watch it, especially if you're a Godzilla or King Kong fan.
I like how movies are making their own universe, because I would have never suspected Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, like in the same world, the monsters.
That is crazy. I might actually watch it tonight. But it's like when I saw the last Godzilla movie, if I have time tonight, knowing
Godzilla King of the Monsters.
The amount of homework I have, oh my gosh. I don't think Godzilla would be able to fight it because it's like 70. It's that much homework.
That was funny.
Anyway, Godzilla versus Kong, I think I'm gonna watch it tonight. It seems pretty interesting. So
you definitely should. Like it's definitely one of those movies that you don't need to turn your brain. You just gotta really just watch it for the mayhem. That's it.
Yeah, I saw the last Godzilla movie, and I think we both agreed that it wasn't as good. Didn't we both agree that? Because it was mostly just action the whole way, from beginning to end. I know that's the point, but it was kind of uninteresting.
I mean,
to me,
there is some aspects where I prefer action and a sense of story. Like an example of that is a film series of John Wick. John Wick it's all action, hardly any story, actually.
Yeah.
But I do understand when it comes to these monster movies, because you need, in that movie it gave me the reason why we need human characters, because without the humans we wouldn't know what's going on, actually.
Yeah.
So I could definitely understand that you probably wouldn't like King of the Monsters, especially being over 2 hours and 30 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, I was straight action. I was like, what's the point of all this? And I was it was interesting, the visuals. They just kill the visuals every time. I'm expecting good visuals, but we need a little bit of story,
Yeah.
a cause and effect. You know, action and story goes hand in hand. You don't want to go over too much action.
What's the conflict and all that good stuff?
Yeah, like why should we care about the action if we don't know what's at stake or what's truly, you know?
Yeah, the action.
Oh, the world's at stake. Okay.
Why
do we care?
Yeah, the action just inflicts the conflict really, like gives them more of a reasoning.
So yeah, that's how I feel about that. Where can I watch Godzilla versus Kong? Where can I? HBO Max.
HBO Max, yes.
Okay, I have to download it. Oh my gosh.
I thought you already had it.
I do. I just haven't downloaded it. That makes sense?
No, not at all.
I have it. I just haven't downloaded. Like, I have HBO at home. Like, I think you can get it through DirecTV. So I know I have it.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I have to like download it and actually.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know. Okay, so going into my topic, we're going to be talking about reboots and sequels. Speaking of reboots and sequels, we were just talking about Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah,
so how do you feel about? Let's just start with sequels. How you feel about sequels?
I like.
You could sum it up in one sentence, just like
one
one phrase.
Necessary.
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 Okay, elaborate now.
I say necessary because some films you can't just stop at one film because you need more explaining. You want more character development. You want to see what's going to happen after this so-called happy ending, really, or sad ending, really. And I mean, like I do think some sequels are necessary, but there are some cases where sequels are unnecessary because like I prefer sequels to be made at least maybe 5 or 7 years after the first one. But anything after that, I wouldn't watch a sequel that's like a decade in the making. Actually, it just sounds really irrelevant because most
sounds
people
like cash grab.
At
that point.
Yeah, it's a huge cash grab. Like it's like when they made the Coming to America movie, the sequel to the first one from the 80s. It just sounded like, why now? Why not back then? I mean, like most of these characters they're not at the same age where they were back then, and or let's say like The Incredibles or The Incredibles 2, because The Incredibles was made like in the year 2004, I think, and the sequel came out like in 2016. So like, why so late? Like why would the audiences have already grown and everything, and no one's really demanding the sequel? You literally made a sequel when no one asked for it. Mm-hmm. When you could just supply and demand right then and there.
To me, I like a body of work, and when you, like you said, when you wait a decade, it just honestly that's a cash grab moment. There is no way you just wait a decade and just expect that. No, like what I think of a sequel, I think it needs to be done right, and when I mean by done right, you should already have however many books or however many movies you already want to make from this particular idea beforehand. You know what I mean? So, like, have everything planned out before you make the first film. So you know there's going to be a sequel, so you can set up plot lines in that first film to leave, you know, as a cliffhanger for the next film and for the next film. I think Marvel does that tactic. They always leave something. They know that the story isn't complete. Instead of completing the story and then just adding something more like unnecessary conflict. That's what I think about sequels. I feel like if the movie people planned out the sequel, I can tell that it's going to be a success because in the first movie, you can kind of tell if they're going to make a sequel. In some movies, like, I would say Harry Potter, but, you know, like, we all knew Harry Potter's story wasn't complete by first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I think it goes up to 8 movies.
At least.
Yeah, and they were following the books, too. But some movies, you can tell that they're not finished like Marvel movies. So that's how I feel about sequels. Now, let's talk about reboots. How you feel about reboots?
It's a case by case.
Case by case, yeah. That's how I think of it too.
Yeah, I mean, like don't get me wrong. I like a good reboot. Actually, I think there are some films that the original release they were good, but they could have been better. Actually, but when it comes to a reboot, they have the ability to enhance what was good about the first one and just brought it out pretty much. Like, for instance, my favorite reboot I've seen, at least in the last decade or so, I like the reboot of It. the original It came out like in 1990.
Yeah, I remember watching the original as a kid.
Yeah, so did I. And like that actually, fun fact, that was actually my first horror movie. Actually.
Really?
Yeah, I was.
Mine was War of the Worlds.
I was I was terrified of that movie. Pennywise and everything. But when the reboot came out, like in 2017, I was immediately interested because it had a great concept at the time. It just didn't have the budget or the special effects. So when they made it in 2017 and they had the special effects with the monsters and the gore, I was like, it was going to do good. And when I saw it, it was better than I expected it to be. It's one of my favorite horror movies ever. It's just a great reboot.
Yeah, Stephen King was behind it too. So
yeah, it was crazy. And I like a good reboot, but there are some cases where when they reboot something, sometimes it'll be almost frame for frame exactly what the original was. And if it's like that, then what's the point if you're remaking it when you could just re-release the first one then?
Yeah. To me, reboots, honestly, most reboots are unfortunately not good. And I can understand why. To me, a reboot is bad if you completely just copy the first one.
Exactly.
It's bad, like, automatically, because it's unnecessary. Why would you do it?
It's copying homework.
The only thing you're doing is making the quality better. That's the visual quality.
Oh,
better.
yeah, definitely.
To me, a reboot, someone said this on YouTube the other day, if you're not, every movie has flaws, right? Every movie. There's not a movie out there that doesn't have flaws.
Absolutely.
Even including the ones that we consider legendary, even our favorites have flaws. The purpose of a reboot is to fix what the first movie did wrong. You know, like, I think there was points in Mulan, to me, I'm using this as an example. Mulan, we all know that the reboot of Mulan was trash. The point was not to exactly copy Mulan, but to fix some of the issues. Like, there's plenty of issues wrong with Mulan. I think culturally they got her cutting her hair off wrong, because in that culture of that particular region of China, growing their hair long was popular of men at that time. So I can see why in the new one they didn't have her chop her hair off and stuff. But you also took away some of the favorites, and I understand why some Chinese people would get mad, because I think having Mushu as a dragon was offending them of some sort. Everything's offending people nowadays. But I think you have to make that balance of, you have to add a little bit of Western in it, because it is an American-made film. So you have to add that, and plus Mushu made the film. I think most people they love Mulan because of Mushu.
That was all
without Mushu,
Eddie Murphy at the time.
Yeah, without Mushu, nobody's gonna like Mulan. Like, he made it 10 times better. And so I feel like a reboot, you keep the good things about the film, but you make it 10 times better by smoothing out those flaws.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I think the purpose of a reboot is, and people just completely miss that point. It just goes right over their heads.
Yeah, I mean, personally, out of all the Disney reboots I've seen, my favorite one so far is actually Aladdin.
Yeah, they nailed it with that one.
Yeah, most definitely. Like it definitely nailed the romance of it, the sense of being lively and magical,
and the music.
Oh yeah,
oh
definitely.
Jesus Christ! That Prince Ali when they were coming in.
Prince Ali.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And the genie. I loved how Will Smith didn't try to be
Robin Williams.
He didn't try to be him. He was himself, and I love that. Like, I think everybody admired that, because we thought Will Smith was going to try to be Robin Williams.
Nah, never copy someone else's work. Like just make it your own.
Even if it is an acting role, like, especially with that great of a role, that nobody can beat Robin Williams, but Will Smith, he did a pretty good job.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We saw him as the genie, as a different version of a genie, almost like a multiverse.
Oh, I bought it.
A genie in the multiverse.
I definitely bought it, though.
Yeah. And he put his own little hip-hop culture twist into the genie.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, but yeah.
All right. Look like we're going a little overboard with the time. All right. This has been Cinnamon and Us.
This is Tyler.
This is Heather. And bye.